would be worried. I understand why people would be upset because they're not being heard. That's the issue. They're not being heard, right? We have governors and mayors who are yelling and screaming only about COVID, which is important. Again, I don't want to take it away. Only about that, and not talking about the most important things to them, the economy and education. That's the most important piece. So as I cross the state, I bring it up. I say, here's what I think we should be dealing with when it comes to the economy. Here's what we should be dealing with when it comes to education. And people are shocked. They're like, nobody else is talking about this. Nobody else is bringing this up. It's crazy. So now I say to myself, all right, so is anyone going to bring up the issues that New Yorkers care about? No. So they feel upset. So now we have more people getting angry. We have more people protesting. We have more people getting upset. And then the government goes, well, why are these people so upset? Why are they protesting? You're not hearing them. You're not hearing them at all. They're not yelling about COVID. You should care about it. It shouldn't be your number one. It drives me crazy. So anyway, I then finally heard my mayor, Baron de Blasio, the horrible mayor that he is, talk about education. And I went, oh my God, could it be possible that maybe he actually got it? Maybe he finally heard it. Okay, great, let's listen. Now, his issue with education was justice and equity. Wow. Okay. Again, not that that's not important. That is important. We should care about that. Absolutely. But that's number one. How about a good education? How about teachers who can teach? How about cutting the budget for education so that we have a more efficient system? How about supporting other people who are literally going to homeschool now and private schools that can't stand the local schools anymore? No. Justice and equity. That's number one. I'm blown away by how blind or deaf our nobility is, and nobody seems to care. For those who don't know, I recently pulled my daughter out of school. You might say, what? You pulled your daughter out of school? Yeah, she's 11. Pull her out. Why? Well, my daughter will go to school. This is New York City. So for those of you who don't know, this may be odd for you. She would go into the school with her mask on, which you would expect because the world's ending, because kids are dying left and right of COVID. Oh, wait, no, they're not. But that's fine. So go in. Must be 3 feet apart from each other. Can't talk in the hallway. Can't talk to their friends. Canceled recess. So can't talk to your friends outside because you might pull your mask off and talk to your friend. Can't do that. And then lunchtime, assigned seating. So you can't talk to your friend. You can't talk during lunch. And half of the room sits and watches while the other half of the room eats, and then they swap. So they can't talk during the entire day. My daughter was in prison. Prisoners have more freedom than my daughter had. I'm not exaggerating. I visited prisons, and anybody who knows people in the corrections world know prisoners have more rights than that. They have more freedom than that. I was like, wait a minute. I'm pulling them out. And when we talked about it, my wife was a bit concerned. She was like, Larry, it might be a problem for you. I said, no. Don't worry. Lots of people pull their kids out. She said, how do you know this? Have you been talking to people? I said, no. I just know there's enough people like me who are not going to keep their kids in prison. But it's the sad part. Hundreds of thousands will. hundreds of thousands will keep their children in prison because the system is more important, because COVID is more important than your child's education. This is where we are now. This is where we are now. My daughter's out now, but so many others are still stuck. And you might go, well, that's their kids. Why do I care? And I could see someone thinking that. But let me go a little forward if I could. Those kids are going to be running things one day. Those kids are going to be working with your kids. Those kids might be in control of your Social Security. Yeah. So you might not care now, but hundreds of thousands of kids are being taught that prison's okay. In fact, prison's the norm. In fact, if you don't like prison, something's wrong with you. That's where education is going right now. What? I know, it sounds odd. That's happening in New York City, and it will happen in other cities. And if you live in a city, it probably is happening in your city. Outside the cities, not as bad. But remember, there's a whole lot more kids in city schools than rural and suburban schools. This is the future of our state, the future of our country. We should be concerned. I am. And I'm most concerned, this is going to sound odd. I'm not surprised that the system did this. Not at all. That's what they do. Our system has become so big and so strong that its only goal is to survive, perpetuate itself. What I'm most disappointed or worried about is how many people simply said, okay, we'll just, okay, prison's fine. This is our problem. This is the biggest problem. That's what I'm worried about. Larry Sharp, a free solution, WYSL, WACK, 585-346-3000. Back after the break.
Your business relies on.
Hey, Larry, we got a call during the last segment that there was no audio on your video feed, so I turned the secondary feed on.
Bottom line, the experts at Simple Tech Innovations are here to help. Their preventative maintenance program ensures that your computers and network are kept up to date and monitored for any issues, keeping your business running smoothly. They also
Yes, I am. I just picked up a phone call. We have Craig from Clinton.
Cybersecurity compliance.
Yep, I'll keep this muted now, but I unmuted it just because when I got that call.
Simple Tech Innovation should be your first call.
No problem. Got it.
8 years in a row and have an A+
All right, so we'll have Craig.
Business Bureau rating. Call them today for a free consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
Inside the Taylor Laboratories.
Hey, Tony, what you doing?
A little experiment, Zach. Look what I have under the microscope.
Ugh, what's that?
A sample of indoor air.
How can it be that dirty? Don't AC and furnace filters help?
Only with dust, Zach. But when Taylor installs a whole house APCO air purifier to detox the air, odors, chemicals, mold, bacteria, and viruses are removed.
For clean indoor air.
Yep. Ain't science awesome?
Taylor, 500 help.
A message from the National Police Association. It used to be that any able-bodied person would offer to assist a police officer in danger. Now, passers-by are more likely to take a video. There's a better use for your phone when an officer's in trouble. Call 911. Tell the operator where you are and what you see. Then, start your video to provide evidence later. To learn more about how you can assist law enforcement, visit nationalpolice.org. That's nationalpolice.org.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to SimpleTech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that SimpleTech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at SimpleTech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at SimpleTech Innovations a call today for a
last spot.
at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. SimpleTech Innovations.
A free solution.
Yes, it is Larry Sharp on A Free Solution, back here on WYSL Rochester, New York, and WACK Newark, New York. 585-346-3000. Before the break, I was talking about how COVID seems to be the number one issue for all of our nobility, but not for us peasants. Us peasants, we're worried about business and career and making money and paying our bills and schools and our kids and our day-to-day life. We want our lives back. And I don't see our nobility understanding that whatsoever. Let me grab a call if I could. This is Craig from Clinton. How are you, sir?
Not bad. How are you, Larry?
I'm doing good. What's going on, my friend?
Oh, just calling because the nobility is cracking down and they know what the peasants want. And you keep seeing these pockets of peasants revolting. You've got the people at the board meetings. They don't, they're revolting against their school board. The Southwest Airlines pilots, they stirred up a bunch of stuff, right? So I guess my question is, like you said, it's about retaining the system, right? It's not actually about you get a tunnel vision and you're like, okay, this is what we need to do. This is how it works. And you don't listen. You're not listening. People are revolting. Are they going to listen?
I was at actually one of these revolts, I'll call it that, in Binghamton last weekend. I spoke there for a bit. And I asked some of the people, I said, what do you think is going to happen from this? And the funny thing is, most of them thought nothing. They were revolting not because they thought there would be change. Many of them have no hope of actual change. They're doing it because it makes them feel better, like they have some form of control. They're revolting to say, I know I can't change this, but I'm going to let you know I'm not happy. I think that's what a lot of people are doing. Now, you might say, Larry, that's bad, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, that sounds horrible.
Sure. I think that if you think that, you may actually make some impact because others may copy. That's where I hope. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I guess because it's the beginning, right? So if other people see this, even if the people that aren't doing it, or even if the people that are doing it now aren't necessarily believing in it, then hopefully they'll inspire other people, right? So it is important to speak out. I do agree with that. It's just, I don't know if anybody is ever going to listen. I'm kind of in that same boat. I'll always say, what I think, but it's like they're not even looking at that question. They're
I
not
have
even
to be
concerned
very
with
forward, and I try to tell people this, and they don't like to hear it. But I'm telling you what I think is real. Executives have to speak out. That's the most important thing, is executives, mayors, county executives, governors, presidents, executives. Why, Larry? We have Congress people and assemblymen and senators and stuff. Our culture doesn't hear them. Our culture ignores them. Our culture hears the big boss says something, the king says something, right? That's what our culture hears. That is what the media pushes. So if the Bidens and the Kathy Hochul's of the world and the Blas of the world aren't speaking, people aren't hearing them. Who's probably one of the most popular on the right? It's DeSantis, the governor of Florida, right? I think when executives speak, we hear and our culture hears. Without executive speaking, we begin to fall.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. So you've got Abbott down in Texas, and you've got DeSantis in Florida. Those are really, besides Newsom and Cuomo, those are really the only governors I can name.
Yes.
So, right? Because they are getting attention. The question is, how much, and is it helpful nationally, I guess, right?
Yeah. I mean, but I do think it matters, right? Remember when Cuomo was their darling, right? Democrat darling? I mean, he was crossing the entire country. I mean, not physically, but his impact was crossing the entire country. So I think, yes, I think executives in a state absolutely can cross the entire country for good or for bad. So, yeah, I think that's really our answer. If we can't get executives to speak out, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I think you're right, because there's legitimacy there, right? So you got to seize the power at the head, because whether or not they really are, quote unquote, supposed to have power, they do. People give it to them, right? So you got to get them to change their tune.
Absolutely. And I think they change their tune when it makes sense for them, right? Most of the people who are career politicians, not all, but most of them, their concern is retention of power. So in that case, basically you have to have leverage. Enough people have to say, you're gone if you don't do as we say. Boy, is that hard with a left-right paradigm and gerrymandering. Really hard. Because if I'm in a big red district or a big blue district, whoever wins the primary is the person who wins the election. So who cares, right? You're in my district in Queens, whoever the Democrat wins, wins the primary, wins. That's how it works. You're in some districts in Western New York where they're very red, whoever wins Republican primary wins. So when you have that in gerrymandering, it becomes hard. So we are in a challenging position, but I think it can be fixed. The key is focus on the executives, focus on your mayor, focus on your county executive, focus on your governor, get those people to speak out, and you will see. Could you imagine if there were a group of county executives that were getting together and saying, no? I think you're finding the opposite happen. Most county executives are actually backing down or being quiet. Most are. They're backing out of being quiet. And you might go, Larry, why are they doing that? Sadly, it's often because of the money. I know you're going to say, Larry, money? Yeah. Craig, most of the money comes from Albany. You start fighting Albany, your funding all of a sudden dries up. What a coincidence that is. Now you can't fix your roads or get schools done. You pay for it. That's their worry. They follow the money.
I think you see it. I think you see it on the municipal level like that, and you also see it now with government checks and all that. Just like you're talking about last night. It's, well, maybe I'll keep my mouth shut because Uncle Sam, he's paying some of my bills. So
yes, absolutely.
It's a leap. You got to take the leap, and you got to be self-sufficient, right? And you got to take care of yourself and say, you know what, I don't really care what you say. Yeah. Great power, great responsibility.
Yes, and here's the issue, Spider-Man. The issue here is people want to pay bills. And I'm not mad at you for wanting to pay your bills. You should pay your bills. And if your bills come from a government job and you're worried that if you say something, you lose your government job or get punished or don't get promoted, that's hard, right? I'm going to ask you now to hurt your career so that maybe something gets changed. Look, do I want you to do it? Of course I do. But can I expect it of you? That's a lot, right? It's a lot for me to say, let me point my finger at you and say, sacrifice your family, gamble your livelihood on some idea which may or may not work. Man, that's a lot to ask. I hope people will do it. But who am I to put that burden on you?
Well, and we do see that with what was her name? Gina Carano. The girl from, she said, I don't, or maybe she got fired. Either way, she took a stand, right? But then she found support. So I think the support is there. It's just the initial leap that people can't take, right?
It's look, and some people are doing it, right? She's one example of that, right? I think those pilots are another example of that. A lot of healthcare workers, right? They're getting let go. They're doing that. So people are doing it. And the hope is if more do it, then people realize, okay, we can't go this far. But here's the hardest part. Government's going to keep doing this. We are going to decide how far government's going to go by how much we comply. When we stop complying, it doesn't work. And the best example I can give you is Gandhi, right? Is Gandhi. Gandhi looked at his British occupiers back in the 1930s and 40s and said, and the British said to him, do you think we're just going to walk away? And he was like, yeah. If 500 million, and there were 500 million Indians then, if 500 million Indians simply refuse to comply, you'll just walk away. I want our government to just walk away. Thanks, Craig. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a good one.
All righty. Yes, walking away is free. That's a free solution. And I'm here, Larry Sharp, on a free solution. 585-346-3000. Back after the break.
Fly the flag, stand for freedom.
WYSL.
AM 1040 Avon, Rochester, FM 92.1 Rochester, and FM 95.5 Spencerport.
Here's the latest forecast from the News 10 NBC Weather Center for tonight. We'll see a mostly cloudy sky, just a slight chance of a light shower, but most of the time dry, still very mild, staying in the low 60s on Wednesday. A few more clouds around, but still some breaks of sun. We'll get up into the 70s. Could be an isolated shower, but the majority of the day will be dry. More beautiful weather on Thursday, partly sunny, well up into the 70s. I'm Rich Cordelia, WYSL.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to Simple Tech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that Simple Tech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at Simple Tech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at Simple Tech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
At Victor Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, Anthony Drive off Route 96 in Victor. They'll help you get ready for winter driving with America's favorite four-wheel drive vehicles, like the 21 Jeep Gladiator Freedom Edition Crew Cab 4x4 pickup, $349 a month for 42 months. A 21 Jeep Grand Cherokee L Limited 4x4 is just $399 a month for 42 months. Must be returning lessee. The 2021 Jeep Renegade Latitude 4x4 is only $199 a month for 42 months. Must have Stellantis loyalty and be returning lessee. The 21 Ram 1500 Classic Warlock Quad Cab 4x4 pickup is just $179 a month for 36 months. Must have Stellantis loyalty and be returning lessee. Use 2 Ram coupons while supply lasts. Jeep, America's iconic four-wheel drive brand. $2,500 cash for trade and other conditions apply. Get full details from the dealer. Equipment and MSRP vary by model. We're here to fully serve Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram customers in Victor, Canandaigua, Macedon, Fairport, and throughout the Metro and Finger Lakes. Winter's coming. Get the safety and security only Jeep can give. Victor Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram 6560 Anthony Drive in Victor.
Do you, like many business owners, feel your business is your other child? You started it, worried when things weren't well, watched it grow, proud of its successes, and now the business is running well. So you start to think, how am I going to transfer this business and make sure I get the most value for it? Who am I going to sell it to? Family, key employees, favorite competitors? What's my business worth? What kind of payment terms am I going to get? What are the tax implications and business agreements I need? What's going to be the impact for me and my family? I'm Alan Ginsberg of the A.M. Ginsberg Advisory Group. We work with many many business owners regarding business continuation plans. We'll be glad to sit down and discuss your situation and look at the options that you may have available. Call my office at 585-377-4720. If you started to think about it, don't wait till the last minute.
Securities offered through Securities America, Inc., member FINRA SIPC. Advisory services offered through Securities America Advisors, Inc., AM Ginsberg Advisory Group, and Securities America Companies are separate entities.
Waiting, yes, I'm waiting for you. Yes, I'm waiting. Yes, I'm waiting for you. Amongst the lace and the ruffles and the fringe and the tangles of things. Yes, I'm waiting for you. With the garters and the straps to find your way back. Don't get lost because I'm waiting for you here in the dark. So very dark. Hurry now. This room is for two. She wore lingerie at Show World.
Inside the Taylor Laboratories. Hey, Tony, what you doing?
A little experiment, Zach. Look what I have under the microscope.
Ugh, what's that?
A sample of indoor air.
How can it be that dirty? Don't AC and furnace filters help?
Only with dust, Zach. But when Taylor installs a whole house APCO air purifier to detox the air, odors, chemicals, mold, bacteria, and viruses are removed.
For clean indoor air.
Yep. Ain't science awesome?
Taylor, 500 help. Do you ever question how much value you get for the money you spend? Funerals can be expensive, and you should feel confident getting what you paid for. Bartolomeo and Prado Funeral Home promises to deliver. From expert guidance to a warm, inviting facility to handling all the details during a difficult time. Their priority is to create a meaningful tribute for your loved one and for you to feel that you spent wisely. When you're in need, call Bartolomeo and Prado Funeral Home, 720-6000.
A free solution.
Hey, it is Larry Sharp back on A Free Solution. WYSL Rochester, New York, WACK Newark, New York, 585-346-3000. Your comments have been exploding in my chats. Let me grab a couple of your comments. I've been talking about New York State and cities and education and the economic environment and how it's dominated by nobility that just pushes only COVID. Like that's the only thing we care about. A lot of you noticed that we didn't have any sound at the beginning of this. If you're watching online, I apologize. My fault. Not being in the game, I made a couple of technical issues. I fixed it though. So thank you for that. I appreciate that. But Andrea said, never noticed how expressive Larry's facial expressions are. Do you know why, Andrea? Because I care. I don't have any notes. I just do this live. I say what I feel. I don't have to worry about remembering any lies because I don't say any lies. I just talk and I care, which is why I do this. So yeah, if you're just watching me, I don't know, is that a thing? You're just going to watch me with no sound? That'd be kind of odd. But anyway, yes, that's very true. I appreciate that. John says, a good chunk of New Yorkers want to be told what to do or to be taken care of by someone else. I want to be wrong, but it's too lucky to ignore. I say this often, John. I think you're right. And we should be okay with this. Look, I wear my libertarianism on my sleeve constantly. I scream it from the top of the rooftops. But I also understand something. Not everybody wants to be free. And that's okay. Maybe that's right for you at your part in your life or whatever. I'm okay with that. The issue is, don't force me to not be free. Let me be free. And you can be free when you want to be free. And you can choose to sacrifice your rights when you choose to sacrifice your rights. You can follow anybody you want. If you want to follow every single thing the government tells you to do, please follow it. As long as the government is just giving me guidelines and not putting me in jail or stopping me from working or crushing my school and just saying, hey, New Yorkers, I think you should do that. If you want to copy, copy. My point is, we shouldn't be angry at them, John. We should be more open and go, okay, can you just let me do what I want to do? And if they can go, well, yeah, we're okay. But I think, the other part, Many of them are not prepared to do that. They want to make sure that you're doing exactly what they're doing. And one of the reasons why they want that, and you know what I'm talking about, is because they're unsure it's right. They don't know if it's real. They don't know if it's the right move. But if everybody's doing it, they don't feel dumb. They don't feel weird. They don't feel strange. So let's get everybody to do it. Well, we can't all be wrong, can we? Well, yeah, but that's fine. It feels a whole lot better. So yes, thank you for that. I appreciate that. Michelle says, yes, even in rural areas, they're doing the COVID thing in schools. Wow, that bad. I can just watch people leaving. When we called our school and said, we're pulling her out, they weren't even shocked. They were like, another one? Okay, whatevs. And you would think they'd be upset. No, let's change. People are leaving. No. Remember something. Most of these people, they're getting paid. They're paying their bills. What are they worried about it? They don't care, Michelle, if you pay your bills. They're paying theirs. They're getting a check. And probably from a whole lot of taxpayer dollars going into that check. They're fine. They're going to follow their system. They're going to pay their bills and move on. And if your kid leaves, doesn't affect them. In fact, easier for them. Let more kids leave. All good. Yes. Tim says, but Larry Sharp, this is depressing. It could be. But we're talking about it at least, Tim. And by the way, Tim is on this show on Thursdays. You want to hear Tim talk about this? Come in Thursdays at noon, and you can hear him talk about it. Yeah. So Tamara says, I know I told my kids if they mandate vaccines, I'm pulling them. I hear they're working to ban any form of education outside of public schools, including Catholic schools. I don't think that's true, right? For those of you who just may not know, the religious exception is becoming stronger in precedent in New York, right? Recently, a court said, no, your religious exemption matters. First Amendment matters. That's a positive thing for us. And I'm not Catholic, right? My kids have gone to Greek school. My family's Greek Orthodox. So would they stop Greek Orthodox school? No, I can't see that. Catholic schools, can't see that. It would go, that would be such an attack on the First Amendment. People just wouldn't accept it. Don't get me wrong. They might try, they might push because government pushes, but there's no way that one goes. There's just too many people who want to go to religious schools. They just are. And my kids don't go to religious schools anymore. They used to. My kids went to Greek school. Both of them did when they were little. Now they don't. But you can send your kids to religious school until they're 18. I don't care. It's your kids. Do what you feel is appropriate in your life. I thought it was good for when they were little. I didn't want it after that. And that's right for my kids. You should treat your kids as you think you should treat them. That's it. Brian says, the longer you comply, the longer this will last. Yes, yes, and yes. But Brian, I'm going to go one step further. The saddest part, and what I think is the most depressive part, even when Tim said it's depressing, I'm going to make Tim more depressed. Tim, get some alcohol out. Or maybe not. Maybe you need something else. I'm just saying, this is going to be even worse. The worst part is we're not just complying. There are so many people who are embracing it, right? You can comply because you're afraid or you're worried or you think, well, what makes the most sense in my life? I'll just comply now. That's what I'll do. But I think people are literally embracing it. And there's a difference. If you're sitting here saying, God, I don't want to do this, but I got to pay my bills or I got to get my kid through school, so I'm just going to shut up and do it. Well, of course I don't like it, but I get it. It's your life. Brian, if that's all it was, I'd actually be okay with that. It's not that. There are people who are openly, happy, aggressively enforcing it. I remember I was talking to a guy when I was in Connecticut. He said, Larry, I'm worried about this medical stuff. All of a sudden, there's going to be people, coming by in white vans. They're going to come out and say, you're a sick person. They're going to grab you and sweep you away. And I said, I'm not afraid of that. He said, why not? I said, if one group of people decides to do that, there's far more of us than them. We'll stop them physically. We will just stop them. That will stop. That's not my worry. My worry is the neighbors who called them. That's my worry. It's your own community that turns on you. That's my worry. So not only is compliance a problem, but eagerly accepting it, that's a bigger problem. So I don't know. Tim, I hope I didn't make you too depressed. So yes, I hope not. So, all right. Michelle says they're planning on hitting truckers next. Yeah, I did hear that. I didn't want to hear that. I was unhappy to hear that, but I did hear that. Absolutely. It's terrible. So, all right. Michael says, hi, Larry. It seems like it's easy to set up protests in New York. So maybe it's a protest or march. You can call it the pro-consent march. I would, but I don't know if it's going to work. I mean, that's my issue. And I don't want to be the guy who sets it up. Because then again, I'm being the center. And it shouldn't be Larry Sharpe being the center. It should be local people setting it up and Larry Sharpe shows up to show support. That's what I want more. If it's just Larry Sharpe's movement, okay, it's Larry Sharpe show. There is a Larry Sharpe show. It's called The Sharpe Way. That's Larry Sharpe show. Outside of that, it should not be the Larry Sharpe show. It should be the local people show, and Larry Sharpe happened to show up. And that's what happened in Binghamton this weekend. I'd rather it be that way. That's a stronger, longer-term grassroots movement that I think is important. So I'd rather go that way, if that makes any sense, Michael. Yes. Nathan says, Larry is passionate, genuine guy. Oh, thank you, Nathan. It's refreshing to have someone like him in politics. I appreciate that. Yes, absolutely. So, all right. With that in mind, let me move to another piece, if I could. In New York City, we're ending what's called G&T. This is gifted and talented. No more gifted and talented program in New York City. And you might say, well, Larry, gifted and talented, you know, that's a bad thing, right? Gifted and talented, no good. It just makes the super smart kids learn super smart stuff. If that was the reason, and you were saying it doesn't work, it's not effective, I'd actually be okay with that. That's not why they're doing it, though. It's not like my mayor said, G&T isn't working, so we should end it. If that was his logic, okay, let's have that conversation. That wasn't. He wanted to end it because of equity. It's not fair. No, I'm not joking. Justice, segregation, and racism is why he wants to end G&T. Now, to be clear, is it possible that a system will end up with segregation or racist outcomes when the system itself isn't racist? Possible. Could happen. But then let's look at the underlying causes. You shouldn't get rid of G&T because the outcomes were segregationist or racist. That's the wrong reason to get rid of G&T. You want equity. We do. We want equality. We do. But we want to look at underlying reasons. This is a big deal when it comes to Asian population in New York City, Black population, white population. And there are some answers. Absolutely. And there are better reasons to fix this. And it'll be all over the place. I'll cover that. After the break, Larry Sharpe, WYSL, 585-346-3000. See you after the break.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to Simple Tech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that Simple Tech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at Simple Tech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at Simple Tech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
Need help with health insurance? The Greece Regional Chamber provides assistance with health insurance for businesses, nonprofits, families, and individuals throughout our region. We pride ourselves on the personalized service that we provide for our clients. Let us help you find health insurance plans that fit your needs and navigate the paperwork. Greece Chamber Benefit Partners, located at 2402 Westridge Road in Rochester, New York, offers a broad range of medical insurance plans for businesses, nonprofits, individuals, and families throughout the greater Rochester Finger Lakes region, working with insurance companies including Excellus Blue Cross Blue Shield, Univera, and MVP Healthcare. We can also help you access insurance plans through the New York State of Health, the official health plan marketplace. Again, you do not need to live or work in Greece to utilize our brokerage services. We serve the greater Rochester Finger Lakes region of New York State. Visit greecechamber.org to sign up for one of our free health insurance information sessions or schedule an appointment with one of our licensed brokers. Call 585-227-7272. 585-227-7272.
Your business relies on computers and technology to operate. Slow, unreliable networks and servers can cause unplanned downtime and affect your bottom line. The experts at Simple Tech Innovations are here to help. Their preventative maintenance program ensures that your computers and network are kept up to date and monitored for any issues, keeping your business running smoothly. They also help clients achieve HIPAA, PCI, and New York State cybersecurity compliance to keep your network safe and secure. Whatever your business IT needs are, Simple Tech Innovations should be your first call. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Call them today for a free consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
A free solution.
Yes, Larry Sharp here on our free solution. And you can listen to a free solution every day at noon. Yeah. Andrew Hollister shows up. Tim O'Connor shows up. The awesome Kevin Wilson shows up. Come on, you can't beat these cool guys. All of them libertarians showing up noon every day here. Follow us on Facebook and on YouTube, A Free Solution. But I'm here now. WYSL Rochester, New York, WACK Newark, New York. So happy to be with you this afternoon. And someone asked, actually, I was talking about kids and the G&T program in New York City. And G&T stands for Gifted and Talented. They would test people, kids, and then put them into special classes to give them special teachers and, more advanced classes, things like that. And again, I'm not against that conceptually. If you're saying you don't think it works, it's not helping kids or it's making other kids feel bad or something like that, okay, let's talk about it. Let's see if that works. But that's not why it's being stopped. It's being stopped because of the ideas of justice and equity. And the example I'll give you is murder. Well, there's laws against murder. Not against that. Good idea. Glad we have that. More Black people are convicted of murder by percentage than white people are. So you might go, oh, that outcome is a racist outcome. So let's end murder laws. Terrible idea. Instead, why don't we say, is there something happening? Is there a root cause that might affect more Black people being convicted of murder? We don't have to end murder laws, right? I mean, if for some reason it's possible that could be bad, but we shouldn't jump to that, right? We should look at it and go, wait a minute, what's the problem here? And I feel like our answer in New York has been, oh, it's not working well, so end it. You might say, well, Larry, it's just because, it's racist towards white people. I mean, it has an advantage for white people. It's actually an advantage in New York City, at least. I don't know if it's true across the country. For New York City, for Asian kids. Asian kids fill G&T, gifted and talented. And Black kids don't. Hispanic kids don't as much either. So it's really massive advantage for Asian kids. So initially, the goal was to make it to where you'd have quota systems, a maximum number of Asians. I'm not joking. If you've heard about this, this was the initial idea. So I guess I should be happy that we didn't go to quotas. See, I have found a silver lining. We didn't go to quota system. Look at that. Perhaps we have learned something. I'm not sure that's true. But look, that feels good. So I'm going to say that we learned something, whether we did or not, because I feel better saying that. So I'm just going to say we learned something. We didn't go to quota systems. That's great. But now we're going to just end the G&T system because it's not fair. So now the kids who were ready for it, who busted their rump to get into it, now it's just everyone gets the same. And the words, if I'm not mistaken, was we don't want to help the few. We want to make sure that we're supporting the many. I'm not against supporting the many at all. I'm all about it. If you see my policies, I'm all about supporting the many. At the same time, are we going to punish achievers? I'm going to go lie, we're not punishing them. We're just not rewarding them. And that is a nuance. I would agree with you. That is a nuance. My worry, though, is if you don't encourage the high achievers in whatever where world you're in, do you get the most out of them too? That's my worry. And I'm bothered that our answer is let's end the G&T. Now, why? Because if you're going to fix education, and we have to, we should be looking at the massive amount of administrators that we have. We should be looking at the waste, fraud, and abuse that we have. We should be looking at what's the outcome of kids getting into college and or getting good jobs and or graduating. These are all things you're looking at. We're not. We're looking at the numbers based upon ethnic groups. Now, is this important? It is. I'm not against caring about social issues. We should care about social issues. And racial equity does matter. And so does gender. I don't want all the girls winning, all the boys winning either. I agree. It's important. My question is, where do we put it on our priority list? And I feel like we put these issues number one, when they probably should be somewhere in the top 5, maybe, but not number 1. That was my issue when I first started talking. The COVID issues, the education issues, the work issues, all of these issues. We don't want to put this as number 1. Here's what winds up happening. In an attempt to make things better, what we do is we allow more people access to a worse system. So we make the system worse, but more people have access to it. This goes back to what I often say there's an at least mindset. Well, at least they got something. Well, at least they've got this. The problem is when you have an at least mindset, the masses get at least. Who doesn't get at least? The wealthy.
2 minutes.
In an attempt to assist the middle class and poor, you just assume that the wealthy will get sucked up into this too. They never do. They're wealthy. They get what they want regardless. They don't care what system. Why they don't care about these systems? They go to private schools. They get private tutors. They don't care about this public school thing you peasants do. They're nobility. So great. Ruin your public peasant school. We got private tutors in private schools. We don't care about you. So what do? We ruin them. We literally do what they want. We should be looking at the outcomes. And does equity matter? Yes, of course it does. Is it a priority? No. Make a better system. Then better access. Not better access with a worse system. We'll put in the car.
1 minute.
That's what I want us to realize. It doesn't mean social issues don't matter. They do. It just means better systems give us better outcomes. I don't hate the player. I hate the game. Better game, better players, more people win. So there is a solution. It's a free solution. As always, change the system first and then watch how people start caring about that system. It can work. Absolutely. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for giving me a chunk of your afternoon. I am running around, not so much these next couple of weeks, so I'll be doing my show normally. You'll see a lot more of me, and I will be here next week too. Not too shabby. I'll see you soon on A Free Solution. See you all next week.